Let's recast it. All right. I love this. I'm so excited. Let's start with Gandalf.
Starting with Gandalf, I think the obvious one.
Charles Xavier. No, Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, of course. That's the obvious one.
Larry David.
Fine. Larry.
YUNKJunk.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to What Is This Podcast, the show where usually four friends talk, but Luke's on daddy duty. And I have nothing to say about that. I'm just disappointed in him as a person for not being here where his actual family is on the podcast.
Well, that's true in a bunch of ways because Cole is his actual family.
This whole time?
Whole time. I know they look nothing alike.
Remember when they used to look really similar?
Right,
you guys used to look
You guys are just very choppy.
We're choppy? Sounds fine over here.
Yeah, no, there's latency. Oh. Can you hear me? Fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got latency. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
Terry's pretending to be frozen.
I remember they would do that
let's just
on
go on.
I remember they would do that on the Kevin Pollak talk show. You ever watch that? He had a Kevin Pollak chat show, I think it was called.
Yeah.
And it was really good. He interviewed, he had Tom Hanks on it once. It was really good stuff. Very interesting.
He's a great talker and arguably one of the greatest character actors who's ever lived. So he's been in everything and probably met so many people.
Would you call him a character actor?
I would call him the character actor, yeah.
Really? I would call Johnny Depp the character actor.
No, Johnny Depp's a leading man.
Yeah, but he's still a
What was his name?
character
Kevin
actor.
what?
Just characters. Kevin Pollak.
Yeah, I remember his podcast. That was early on.
Yeah, he was one of the
Freaks and
first.
Geeks on it.
Yeah,
that was one of his co-hosts.
Yeah, I want to say that kid's name is Sam Levine. Sam Levine. There we go.
Yeah, what was Kevin? What's his name? Kevin Pollak.
Yeah,
Sam Levine, the director.
So what was he in again?
No, Sam Levine. Sam Levine was the co-host, and he was from Freaks and Geeks. He was also in Inglourious Bastards and whatnot.
Yeah,
Kevin Pollak is fucking A Few Good Men.
Yep. Pollak.
Usual Suspects.
Kevin Pollak. He's in a ton of stuff. I mean, he's in literally a ton of stuff. But I don't know why we brought him up. But anyway, Kevin Pollak's more family to me than Luke is because Kevin Pollak always showed up on chat shows. There we go. I got us back. I was trying to say Cole and Luke looked very similar when they had identical bowl cuts as children.
Everybody had a bowl cut in the 90s.
It's true. Yep.
Yeah.
The question is, did you?
In a way,
in
a way, you could say there were well, actually, so what were the different phases of haircuts? As we were coming up, it was the bowl cuts. And then I think in middle school, we
parted in the middle,
flick it straight. You just gel it straight up.
Yep.
Right. But it was spiky.
A long time.
Yeah, it was called the Caesar cut, made famous by George Clooney in the show ER, I think is where it came back. And then everybody had that.
I don't know if the Utes were really rocking.
And then I think it was buzz cuts. It was just to buzz your hair in 2006 to 2008, probably.
Did you buzz your hair?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I kept it short. I never put any product in it until probably 2012 or no. Yeah, 2011, 2012.
What's your favorite hair product?
I do this. I use this dry pomade. It's a powder.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It's a powder. You just pour the powder in your hair and it still keeps it with that dry look, but it holds it so much better than any type of pomade or anything. And then I just throw a little hairspray in it.
Just to hold it. Cutting edge.
Styling powder.
Yeah.
Ooh, this one's called Slick Gorilla.
I was using one for a while that my barber had, but now they discontinued it. So I use this. It's called Sexy Hair.
Ooh.
Straight to the point.
I remember being in a store and seeing big, sexy hair.
That's a woman's product.
I can go grab it and I can show you guys if we want to try to get a sponsor.
Yeah. Zach, what do you throw in your hair?
Hardly anything. I keep it pretty natural.
What? How? How's it stay in place?
My hair's gotten curly as I've gotten older, so I don't really need to do anything. Curly hair just has volume, and you know what I mean? Also, I wear a lot of hats. Sexy hair. I have.
Wait, is that big, sexy hair? It says big under there, doesn't it?
It says big. Yeah, I guess they might have different kinds. Sexy hair, big, sexy hair, medium, sexy hair.
How can you have big, sexy hair as a... Oh, wait, no. Yeah, you got big, sexy hair. They just put sexy hair on top and moved the big down in their new branding. It is a Macy's brand.
And it's called Powder Play is the name of the product.
I think I have that exact same one.
It's great. It's great. You just when I get out of the shower, I kind of style it a little bit, dry it, get it nice and dry, throw the powder in there, and then just get it a quick style. And then it forms exactly the way that you want it. And then just take a little hairspray. Done. Takes like 3 minutes.
What do you think
go ahead. I think we should. Here's my pitch. We become a fashion blog.
A blog. We changed mediums entirely. We're done with the podcast.
Going back in
now
time.
We're bloggers.
Is blog an acronym?
No.
Okay.
No, it was just like an internet word that was made of like here's the log, but it's the blog.
Yeah, what did the B stand for though? I think it might be an acronym.
It must be, right?
A B log, a
blog. Like a vlog, I get that.
Broadcasted log or a bisexual log.
Here we go. Blog name origin. Weblog. And they got rid of the we.
That's it.
Put a B.
Yep. Well, no, the B was there all along. WEB. LOG. Weblog. And they got rid of the we.
Shorten everything. We always got to shorten everything. Why don't we just make every word the shortest word that we can?
We do, pretty much.
Yeah, I know, but why don't we just start with the shortest word?
I'm a big fan of abbreviating. Love abbreviating. Get some hot abbreves and just abbreviate things that no one ever has, like getting some lasagnas. That's lasagna.
Paul Rudd is all about that with his ad libs. Paul Rudd abbreviates everything.
Yeah.
The best one was
a lot of abbreves with the Rudster.
Tom from Parks and Rec.
Jobin. He and I Love You Man. He calls Jobin.
It's a better name than that.
You call me Jobin? I don't know what that was.
Magooch.
Totes my goats. That was definitely Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
All right. So Tom.
So that was your pitch, Zach?
Well, I didn't finish.
Okay.
Well, hang on. Let me finish the abbreviations because it's funny. Parks and Rec, there is this thing where he rattles off, Tom, played by Aziz Ansari, rattles off nicknames. And he goes, listen, zerts are what I call desserts. Trays are entrees. I call sandwiches, Sammys, Sandoodles, or Adam Sandlers. Air conditioners are cool blasters with a Z. I don't know where that came from. I call cakes big old cookies. I call noodles long ass rice. Fried chicken is fry chicky chick. Chicken parm is chicky parm. Chicken cacciatore, chicky catch. I call eggs pre-birds or future birds. Root beer is super water. Tortillas are bean blankies. And I call forks food rakes.
Food rakes.
There's no way that was improv, but if it was, that is incredible.
I know one classic improv that they have from Parks and Rec. It was Chris Pratt.
The Kim Kardashian thing.
The what?
Kim Kardashian thing.
He puts the symptoms into
Oh
weapon.
no, I know that one though too. Yeah, because he comes on her back, or something about a comeback.
Yeah.
No, he,
Well, it's like Kim Kardashian's comeback.
No, the one where Amy Poehler's character is sick, and everyone's trying to take care of her, and he's like, I just looked up your symptoms into the bar here on the computer, and it says you might have network connectivity issues. Ad-libbed.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so good.
Them, in a deep YouTube wormhole, I saw them talking about it on some forum that they were at, and the showrunner mentioned that. He's like, when I realized Chris Pratt is an improv genius, it was when he said this line off the top of his head.
I mean, I love Chris Pratt. He's great. I feel bad that he's
saying wormhole almost makes it sound adventurous and scientific instead of rabbit hole. Like I was down a deep YouTube wormhole. That almost puts a positive spin on it, and I like that.
You guys are chopping up again, but yeah, wormhole. I guess you could say wormhole. I've heard that before.
No,
right?
no, you go down a
rabbit
no.
hole.
I think you go down a YouTube rabbit hole, right?
This is all chopping up, dude.
You can leave and come back. How's your internet connection? Are you having network connectivity issues? Call back. Call back.
It looks like
the callback kid. Zach, where else are we going with this fashion blog thing?
That's really not my pitch, but I just wanted to know if what the cut of y'all's jib was like these days. What as far as tightness or looseness in your pants?
I have never ever figured out pants. I can't. My legs are too weird for pants. I bought I think I tried on
you do have some big boy legs.
Dude, I tried on some size 36s, size 38s, and it depends the pant. Like I'm out of anything that's not straight or relaxed fit. Like I cannot do a tapered, or I cannot do boot cut. Like I can't do it. My legs are too thick with power.
The skinny jeans gone. That era is past. But I was curious because Cole strikes me as somebody who would still be fighting that good fight.
Well, fitted pants are always in.
I would be, but my girlfriend got me off it.
That's what they're for.
I still have a bunch of skinny jeans. I mean, I'm all about silhouette,
Yeah, shape is important.
I'm all about silhouette, but no, I'm going with just like they're still slim, but they're not skinny.
Mm-hmm.
They're not boot cut, not skinny, but right in the middle.
What's your guys' waist measurements? Are you guys like 30? 32. Wow, I've never been 32.
33, 32.
Wow. I was wearing 34, 32 for a long, long time, but they're too tight. You wash them once and I'm screwed. So then I'm walking around with tight pants for 2 years because I don't like to buy pants very often. But now I'm part of the loose pants gang. And actually the pants I'm wearing today are kind of tight. But I didn't buy them tight.
That's the trend right now is baggy.
Yeah. I've transitioned into baggy jeans.
It is?
Yeah. Like 90s. Yeah. 90s clothing's very in right now.
Why 2023 is the year of the baggy jean? What?
Kind of like high water-ish, not like
all I had to do was
back
wait
in the day, like when they would get like wet, like going over your boots, going over your shoes, walking through the rain, like the bottom.
No, I'm not going crazy. Like
now they're a little high watered.
Just a loose, and it's only baggy in comparison because everybody's wearing fucking skinny jeans for like the last 5 years, probably even more. So to wear even just like the slightest bit of a loose jean seems huge. But for the longest time, I couldn't wear a cuff over my sneaker or boot. It always had to be tucked into, the lip.
Yeah.
Or even for the last 2-3 years, I was rolling up the bottom of all jeans and cuffing everything. And now I can I just let them hang, man. It's a crazy time.
Wait a minute.
Let it hang.
Baggy jeans are called boyfriend jeans. So this whole thing is like girls stealing our pants.
Well, for girls, they're called boyfriend
They're
jeans.
stealing our pants, and no one's standing up to them.
I secretly do want this I could talk fashion all day.
I can't.
But we call it fashionistas would be the name of the podcast.
You know what? I can't do trends. I'm not good with trends. Like I like, you know, I prefer just build the body so it looks good in jeans and a t-shirt, and you'll always be fine. But trousers,
gyms and t-shirts, but ones that look like, you know, maybe I'm an adventurous farmer. Like I'm a little more outdoorsy than I actually am. Like I have a very blue collar job is my aesthetic.
I feel like
Always
I could do suits.
A work boot, a dirty, like tattered jean, and like a plain t-shirt with no logo, nothing.
I like that look
on my chest. I can't do it.
I like that look. I like having clothes that have belonged to me for a long time, like jeans that are really worn in. Yeah, and you can wear like some like Chelsea boots with them, and they just fucking lay perfectly, just with a regular old t-shirt. I love that. Love that look in the spring and the fall.
I have the workman jacket. I got this, you know, the jacket that Pedro Pascal wears in The Last of Us.
Yeah.
I had that jacket before him, actually, since you asked. But you'd throw when that you really want to talk like I look like I was out in the field all day working, you throw that jacket on.
You know what? I could actually talk about this because I desperately want to get into the athleisure look. I can't find joggers that allow me to not feel like I'm wearing like dumpy sweatpants, but I desperately want to be able to do like Adidas hat, Adidas shoes, and like a t-shirt and some joggers and look as good as some of these people can when they like you can go to the office in that shit. And I don't know how. I don't know how. All I do is like I look at the sweatpants I'm wearing and I'm like, I can see all that you are in the mirror. I could see a division symbol in your in your pants.
Yeah, I can never
like I desperately want to be able to do it. I want to be like Puff Daddy, damn it. Maybe not anymore.
You don't. No, you don't. Well, you're in luck, Terry. You're living in the golden ages of athletic and leisure wear.
What color?
Guys, I'm going to reset my Wi-Fi. I'm sorry. I'll be right back.
Well, like what color?
What color? Whatever works best for your palette.
All right. I do blacks. I do blues. I do whites.
Well,
that's pretty much it.
Wearing a lot. Whatever. Well, your eyes are blue. You should be wearing fucking blue.
Are they?
Yeah. Anything that works with your skin. I look best in earth tones.
All right. So what do I wear? Why is it all women's clothes? I want blue men's athleisure.
Yeah. So look at like Aloe or Fabletics or Lululemon or Adidas, Nike.
Fabletics.
Everything leisure wear. People aren't actually dressing up anymore.
Oh shit. Cole left. I got it.
You know what trend I'm on these days?
What's that?
The completely all black trucker hat.
I like that look. I'm rocking the dad hats.
No logo. I can only wear dad hats.
Wait, do not tell me that trucker hats are back. Trucker hats are back?
Yeah, but like no, like
I could see it.
Plain, no logo, nothing.
How do you know this?
I live in LA.
I'm not gonna lie. I follow a few like fashion.
Whatever. I'm on Fabletics and I'm getting Kevin's faves. All of them.
Yeah.
I'm just buying the Kevin Hart collection. I'm done.
I bet I follow 20 interior design Instagrams and furniture Instagrams.
Huh.
I want to be an interior guys. Come here. I want to be an interior decorator so bad.
Zach,
I don't think you gotta go to college.
Why have you turned into a middle-aged housewife who's trying to start her second career? Like, this is incredible. Next, you're going to talk about real estate. Are you going to talk about real estate next?
No, but I do have I follow a lot of architectural Instagrams too. I do love architecture. It's all design. It's creativity. You're designing a fucking room. You're picking colors, textures, style.
What do you know about feng shui?
It's how energy flows throughout the room.
But what do you know about feng shui?
Not a lot. I'm a big mid-century Art Deco kind of guy.
I gotta look that up. What does that even mean? Mid-century Art Deco.
Mid-century is the 1940s to the 1960s.
Art Deco, is that minimalist?
No.
I'm minimalist for sure.
Maximalist?
No, it's colors, it's woods,
I'm definitely a minimalist.
Are you?
Minimalism.
Yeah.
But I like color too much.
If you look at like most of the artwork from my albums or singles, if you look at my music videos, I mean, look, like Terry, one of my favorite music videos is the one that we made for my song Never Learned. That's as minimalist as you can get.
It's true. Green screened it.
Love that shit.
I always forget the three of us made a music video together.
Oh, that was the sequel. Yeah, that's right.
Arguably the greatest music video.
I used that picture on dating apps for a long time. For whatever reason, like that shirt fit me so well. And then there's just Abe Lincoln next to me.
Like You're like leaning back.
And I'm holding the camera and like I'm bicepping hard at the camera, but I'm looking at George Washington and Abe Lincoln.
The lighting too, and the just
you're just in a field.
I had sunglasses on. That's why I look so cool.
Yeah,
because I knew fashion back then.
That's a killer dating app photo.
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a great one.
I had some great ones.
So here's my real pitch. I've been watching all these roundtables, Hollywood Reporter, and because it's award season for actors, so I watch, all the directors on directors and. The directors roundtable, actors roundtable, writers roundtable, and they take all these people who they're awarding for their work, and particularly the ones I'm watching, and probably only the ones I'm watching. It's all for the movie industry, right? So I thought we do a roundtable for just like average schmucks, and like we pick like a profession like plumbers or whatever, or and then we do roundtable interviews of their process, and but they talk about it in the same way these actors and directors are.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. Themselves.
Yeah, I mean that's literally my business. That's what we do at YUNKJunk. It's literally that of like start podcasts and things for people who just have something to say, where you can get information. Like that's a great idea. If you could get me 4 plumbers to do a show, I would do that tomorrow.
No, but we do it.
It's us pretending to be.
Yeah. So we character. So we're all plumbers, and we're just at the round table talking about our craft and kind of like complimenting each other and patting each other on the back, and like, talking about our early day struggles of like plumbing and how we came up through plumbing. You know what I mean?
And like you're listening and you're acting like the other plumber is saying something so profound about plumbing. Like, wow.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. Oh no, I have a very similar story.
Guys, just like, this is my turn. Like, I just can't believe I'm here in the first place, sitting right next to.
I grew up. I became a plumber because of your work. You know what I mean? Like, you have to keep this, like, the fucking jerk offness of these round tables.
The smelling your own farts.
Yeah. Oh, and maybe that's what we call it.
Smelling your own farts.
Yeah.
That's the plumber show for sure.
But each week we pick a new, profession or topic. And we all come in character. You come with a name in costume, a little backstory for yourself. And we highlight these unsung heroes, and we give them kind of their moment You know, we
Yeah, but
celebrate
we're a
the
bunch
same
of
way we celebrate.
jackasses who don't know what the actual trials and tribulations are of doing that
Sure,
kind
but
of work. We're a bunch of
that's
creatives.
where all the improv and all the shit we do regularly, we're
We'd
just
have
gonna
to do a
apply
lot.
it
We'd
to
have to
this.
do research each
Yeah,
week,
do a little
or
bit of research on plumbing if you want, or don't. I think it's even funnier if you know
or don't.
nothing about plumbing. But you know, and we just improvise in these characters and have fun. But in that style, I think could be so funny.
Yeah. I mean, if you did that with like pizza makers,
Anything.
oh my God, you're the legendary pepperoni man from 1972. Guy
Anything.
had pepperonis the size of your head. It was just one pepperoni on a slice.
Yeah, like
You're my
you
hero.
know, the problem is we need an interviewer to. I guess one of us would rotate. One of us is always the interviewer, and then the other three are at the round table.
I can host.
I like that. I like that. That would be fun.
That's very like we're just slowly trying to be Comedy Bang Bang, which I think is good. We talk about something serious and then go off the wall with like improv.
I mean, that's not a bad thing to shoot for.
Have you guys ever done improv? Like in like a troupe, perform it or anything like that?
Well, yeah, when I first moved out here, I took what was it, like essentially what's UCB 101, but I took it with Horatio Sands, taught the class.
What?
Yeah.
That's
I remember you
awesome.
told me that.
Yeah, and he was a shitty teacher. He never taught it before, he said. He's like, I've just been around. He's like, I can show you. And then we we learned all the games and pretty much just get comfortable. And then at the end of whatever that was, like 4 months, we put on a full hour show.
Yeah, we did that. I did that in Philly once.
It's so much fucking fun. You want to talk? I always think I think Cole and I have talked about this when the Thomas Middletich and Brian.
Yeah, I just rewatched it.
Oh yeah, they're great. They're incredible.
And Ben Schwartz, but like watching them, especially the wedding one that they do, where they really create like a story, like a narrative, like a beginning to end.
Yeah, they're masters.
Masters.
Like,
and I always find it so impressive to one, create, but also comment on your creation as you're doing both at the same time.
Yeah, they're like making fun of themselves, but then they have moments where like they forget something about it, and they're like wait, and they like either call themselves out or call the other one out. Like,
yeah,
they do like this meta type of performance.
It's very impressive. I always find meta shit, and I always tell this to my writing partner Gabe, and he's like, "Yeah, well, it's because you're gay." It's always his response. But I find meta stuff so interesting and impressive. Like I like when commenting on itself.
Yeah, me too.
To a degree, he thinks it's
that.
like a shortcut.
And I realized actually it's crazy you bring that up because like while I was in the shower today,
you were meta.
Well, meta and like breaking the fourth wall and like commenting on the art, looking at its reflection, so that, and then giving it right back so that the listener or the viewer or whoever's taking in the art is able to witness the artist turning it on its head. I was thinking about why do I love that so much. If you think about it, as I thought about it, my background comes from hip hop. And what do rappers do? The rappers they're basically, whether they're writing in the earliest forms of when I was becoming a huge fan of it in the mid 90s, to late 90s, rappers were their lyrics were either like hypothetically dissing another rapper, or telling the listener about what they're doing, telling the listener about why they're so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And no other art form really does that. No other music genre really does that. So hip hop nowadays has evolved so much, but there are still those moments where the rapper is rapping directly to the listener.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Freestyle battles completely improvisational.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about the meta experience, you know, the meta
Right.
and breaking the fourth wall, you know,
Right. When
type
they
of thing.
comment on there, like all the time,
Yeah,
you hear somebody being like, my soliloquies or my blah 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 as they're doing it
a
themselves.
soliloquy, yeah. So if you go to a stage show and the you know the scene, you're taken out of the scene, and one of the performers looks to the crowd and does a soliloquy, you know, they talk directly to the crowd, and then the lighting changes, then they go back into the scene. You know,
Yeah,
that's
I
a lot
think
of like what hip hop is.
yeah, I mean it what was it? I think King Lear, I think is where all of that started from. To the King Lear
Is
or
it?
Henry VIII, but it's Shakespeare's the one who developed breaking the fourth wall. Because it was from plays and stuff like that. I love it comedically more than anything because it makes me think of like Looney Tunes, and Mel Brooks is top tier breaking the fourth wall. Deadpool made it famous recently and brought it kind of back into the mainstream, but Mel Brooks was a master of it before that.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Gary Shandling, his first show
Gary,
kind of kind of blew it out of proportion. Like, talk about breaking the fourth wall and going meta.
what show are you talking about? Larry Sanders?
No, before that, I think it was just called the Gary Shandling Show.
You're right.
It was just straight up breaking the fourth wall. Um, I can't even really explain it. Like, nothing has been done like it ever since. You know, it was so fucking genius.
Someone's
He was
aware
like,
that they're in a show,
what's that?
where they're aware of that they're in a show.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like what Rick and Morty does. You know, like
Mhm.
Rick acknowledges he's in the show. You know, like, but obviously Rick and Morty wouldn't have been able to do it if it wasn't for Gary Shandling doing it first. But yeah, I love that. And
Me too.
I even look back to um, when we made that music video that we were talking about, that the three of us made together years ago. We were having conversations, like all brainstorming, just shooting the shit, trying to figure out what we were gonna do. And that came up at one point, like where I think Zach, you may have suggested, like, and we should like turn to the, we should like break the fourth wall at some point. And Terry, as the director, was like, you guys know I love breaking the fourth wall as much as the next guy, but I don't know. I don't think this.
Didn't
I don't
feel
think
it,
this
it
idea is
already
gonna
felt like
work.
we were doing enough of a wink that I
Yeah.
was
Oh,
like,
I think I literally winked at the camera several times.
I'm sure you did. And I was probably like, got what?
The
Yeah.
best part is the car driving in the background in the one shot.
No, the best part is going to the strip club
That what an
as
experience.
George Washington and Abe Lincoln.
It's an experience I'll never forget.
Yeah, that was fun. All right, so I have a pitch.
Yeah, let's go.
I gotta go soon, so hurry up.
Where are you going?
I gotta work at 4.
Oh,
Okay. Um, so it would be called like Kindred Spirits.
Mm.
And the idea is each week one of us would come up with two people that work in like two different fields, and but they're very similar to each other. You know what I mean? They can be, their traits can be easily paralleled and compared to each other. So like a few that I had was like, one that immediately came to mind for me that I've thought about a lot over the years, and I even thought about years before we even conceived the idea of this podcast. I thought about creating a podcast about like how music producers can be compared to so many other fields. So like
Yeah.
one idea that I have for the Kindred Spirits is like comparing Louis C.K. to Kanye West. Louis C.K. is, people think of him as just a comedian. Kanye, people think of him as either just a rapper or just a hip hop artist. But they both can do so many different things in their fields. So where I would go with it is like, a really good stand-up comedian um, can do so many other things in their field, whether it's writing, directing, or even acting. And then really good comedic actors sometimes are the best, dramatic actors, you come to find out later, because the best dramatic actors can't go across the table and do comedy as well as comedians can. So I could compare Louis C.K. in that sense to Kanye West, because he can do anything in hip hop and like a lot of things in the art world. He could do any type, he could produce any type of hip hop song, he could write any type of song. Um, so those are two examples. That was one example of Kindred Spirits. I just listed a couple others. Michael Jordan and Jay-Z, for obvious reasons. Like they're so cool and just so smooth and so natural. Like they were like born to do what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like it just comes to them so easily. And they're the goats. And then I had another, Quentin Tarantino and Frank Ocean.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? And
Because
we
they're
would just
gay.
do the whole episode where we kind of compare and contrast the two kindred spirits and why they're similar. And then, or each person would, have their week. Okay, here are my kindred spirits. And they pitch it to us, they present it to us. And then we all either agree or, we just try to flesh it out, get to the bottom of it. And maybe at the end of each episode, everyone has a suggestion, if they're to like, if they don't agree with one of the, kindred spirits, actually, Quentin Tarantino instead of Frank Ocean, I think he's a little more like Kendrick Lamar, and here's why. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that.
Kindred spirits.
I thought you were gonna say, thought it was gonna get like real more blue collar. I feel like artists, you could almost do that with any other artist. You know what I mean? Like the artist to athlete thing makes more sense to me as far as like where you go with debate, because like I think about it all the time as like take a chef and a interior designer, since you guys love interior design so much. You're just arranging things to create a reaction based on color, texture, taste, if it meshes with the other ingredients. You're just, all art essentially is arrangement. And it's because you have a perspective on that arrangement that you think is unique or that you want to express. Like art to art, I feel like would get a little redundant. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of the same recipes or same ingredients.
Okay. Well then, yeah, I mean, you just even you went meta there yourself, comparing art to architecture or, interior design. That actually is something that I would bring up a lot when I would be showing someone how I was engineering their song, how I was doing the sound engineering, mixing their song. You know, you can't, you can only stack so many sounds at once in a mix, in a song. And I would say the way I would explain it to people in the room was like, because a lot of artists would be like standing over my shoulder, like, hey, but put this here. Like, well, all right, we got so many things going on at once. Like, it's impossible for me to mix this because I would say, picture a room, like, and you're just stacking everything in one spot of the room on top of each other. Doesn't make sense. Everything needs its own space in the room. It
Yeah,
needs
you
its
could
feng
also
shui.
look at it like color. You put too many colors in, it becomes black.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, so the kindred spirits. I mean, that's where you could go with it. I just, those were three examples, that most of them happen to be artists.
Yeah,
But yeah, you could, I was even thinking of, I mean,
maybe
he's
like
still an
Plumber.
artist too, but like Lorne Michaels, could be compared to, Mark Cuban. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
that's a good one.
that could be a fun. I think that could be a good podcast.
You know,
I
I've
think we
found that
should.
I found that successful people seem to have a lot in common. So it's always interesting to hear like two titans have a conversation, like a legitimate one where they're, not hiding things from you and whatnot. It's always interesting because in a way, you can be in totally different fields, totally different businesses, but have a brotherhood over like, how difficult it is to grow or something like that, where you can talk about subject matter, even though one's from a tech startup and the other's like builds boats or something like that. There's always a through line between people who are successful, and maybe successful is not the right word. I think people who are passionate about anything can talk forever about their passion.
Yeah. Parallels, not even necessarily like monetary success, but success and passion. Or
parallels. I mean, that was I was brainstorming what
Parallels is a good title.
Parallels, yeah. I mean, that might even be better than Kindred Spirits, which I thought was a really good title.
It is a good title. I like parallels. You know what is a word I've been hearing all the time? You know how like when you never knew a word or the use of it, and then you hear it, and then you're like, oh, people say this all the time. I just never really realized it.
You start to notice it all the time.
And then you hear it all the time. You're like, oh, like I never knew what thwarted was. And then somebody explained thwarted. And I was like, oh,
thwarted, like
thwarted?
THWARTED.
Yeah, thwarted.
Yeah, like
Void.
bombarded.
Yeah, you thwart the enemy.
Yeah. And then the one I heard the other day, which I really like, I'm going to actually start using. I don't use thwarted. This is more than I've said thwarted in the last 60 seconds. More than I've said it.
You got to thwart before you say it. Thwart.
Yeah, with a W.
You've also sharded all over the pronunciation of thwarted.
Thwarted.
Thwarted. To me.
Yeah, well, there's the clip. There you go, Dylan. We got one.
I thwart your retort.
Ooh,
is long.
That's like rap.
I mean, I do it sometimes.
From time to time, I like to rap. Longevity. Or not longevity, longitude. I've been given the longitude, the space, the freedom to do whatever I want. I never heard it in that context. I was given a lot of longitude, and I heard it on all these fucking round tables.
Oh my God. You know what just hit me though? You just said parallels and you suggested that as another name. When I was brainstorming this week of like what my pitch was going to be, the first idea that I had that I was going with was, and oh my God, it's crazy. You just said parallels. Cause then I was taking it further. Like, what am I going to, I have a working title for my next album.
Yeah.
And Zach, I've told you what it is. I'm not going to put it out there right now, but parallel coals was like an idea that I was going with. Every song would be a different coal from a parallel universe.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So the Coalaverse.
What got me to thinking about that was I was brainstorming about, podcast ideas and parallel universe versions of ourselves.
Right.
That we could talk about.
I like that the idea of infinity is that there is no impossible way that does not exist. Like if we are out in infinite nothingness, that means that the three of us are doing a podcast somewhere else exactly like this. There's so much space that we've done every single other thing in the world. In fact, we've duplicated it an immeasurable amount of times. So I love
There's
that thinking.
There's a podcast out there where we are so successful at this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, anything can happen.
Yeah, I love it.
And has happened. That's the thing. It not only can it happen, it has happened.
And it's come back around.
Statistically, you're saying. And the infinite possibility. I love they put it in kind of I've heard it in a couple things. Like drama films, they'll use that as a line of like when a couple's breaking up, and they'll be like, well, there's a world out there where, we love each other forever and this works. And so that's enough for me. You know what I mean?
Doctor Strange says that.
Does he?
It's very tragic. At the end of the Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness, he says something like, I've always loved you everywhere or something like that. But he realizes he just has to let her go.
Yeah. Rachel
that
McAdams, hard
movie
to
missed the
become.
mark on a lot of levels, but that really was nice at the end there.
All right, Terry, what do you got?
Well, my pitch was much softer. It was just the idea of we take great movies and we recast them with different actors that we wanted to see them as. It was very simple and very fun. And I thought what we'd do is we would take Pirates of the Caribbean and change out the entire cast for other actors who would have done just fine in those roles. It's a happy sort of thing. It's fun. It's easy on the ears because there's nothing more fun than imagination.
I love that you said that would do just fine.
It would do just fine. Not great.
Anybody
who would do just fine. It's a very happy, nice thing. It's like, well, this person didn't have to win an Oscar for it, but they would have done fine.
Yeah.
Right. Are you trying to make them like people who could have been interchangeable?
Yes, close, but again, just fine. But also do it however you want. Fine. So if you have a vision for, like I saw somebody did like their vision of like, I'm sorry?
I said for Pirates of the Caribbean. No, I don't.
Yes. No. I'm saying if you just had like someone
Caribbean.
Did, what?
It's Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
I think the movie is Caribbean.
It's 100%.
Just because everyone pronounces it wrong doesn't make it right.
No, they've all got carabiners. It's different. They're.
Is that why it's pronounced that way?
Yeah, because they're all climbing mountains and worried.
Keys
yeah, they got little carabiners.
Yeah.
All right. So who would play Captain Jack and do just fine?
And do just fine? Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh,
hey, he would. He would do just fine.
Yeah.
He'd be great.
He'd be great.
Michael Keaton.
Keaton. A little older Captain Jack. That would be fun.
Ooh, Michael Shannon.
He's crazy.
He would be fine. I like when he does weird comedy.
He would be fine.
He'd be fine. There we go. So that's just the one you pick is whoever is fine. That's the one you go. Michael Shannon would be fine. Michael Shannon would be fine. Who would be? This.
All right.
So about, Orlando Bloom was the hero.
You can go a million ways with that soggy piece of toast.
Honestly, you could. You're right.
Jake Gyllenhaal would be just fine.
But you got to go with.
He might be too good.
He might be too good.
Might be too good. We're looking for just fine.
He's not just.
Okay. Okay, a little more.
It's why. So like, I would immediately think Gosling because he can do anything, but he'd be too good.
He'd be too good. He'd probably be just fine at Jack Sparrow.
He'd probably be. Yeah. He'd probably be just fine.
Yeah, just fine.
Just fine. So
we got to do just fine. We got to find that sweet spot.
Exactly. So like Jason Segel, he might be fine.
At what?
At being a sword fighter.
At Orlando Bloom?
No, he wouldn't. But you know who would be just fine? The guy that he played against in How I Met Your Mother. The guy who plays Ted. He would have been just fine.
Ted Mosby, just fine.
Would have been just fine. Give him a sword.
I think James Franco would have been just fine.
James Franco would have been just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just fine.
All right. R.I.P.
All right. What?
R.I.P. James Franco. He's done.
His career.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
Super done. You could put that young Jacob Elordi.
Who's that?
Jacob Elordi.
Saltburn.
Are you pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
Euphoria.
Sorry, you thwarted me on this one.
He was in the running to be the next Superman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? Franco would have been just fine. His little brother would have been just fine too. Dave Franco would have been just fine.
I think his little brother is a better one though. Would have been
funnier.
Just I don't know. A little more fine.
Franco's got Pineapple Express.
You know
forever.
What? At that time though, like that movie comes out.
Is that what we're doing? It has to be at that time.
It doesn't, because but in this instance, James Franco would have been perfect because that's Spider-Man. So he is right there, like leading man.
Yeah.
But someone else is clearly the star of the movie, but taking a leading role. He would have been good at that. I never looked
at Orlando Bloom as like, that's not like, I never looked at him as like a good hero.
Legolas, Lord of the Rings is where
Yeah,
you're
but
like,
Legolas is just cool.
There's so many
Exactly.
other heroes in
Make
Lord of
that
the
character
Rings, though.
cool.
There's so many other heroes.
well,
Yeah,
Aragorn.
ooh,
I would say
actually-
Aragorn's the hero, but
Of course
Yeah.
he is. Let's play that game with Lord of the Rings.
boom! Yes, this is
Wait.
what the podcast needed. Some energy from Tear Bear. Here we go.
Okay.
Let's recast it. All right. I love this. I'm so excited. Let's start with Gandalf.
Starting with Gandalf, I think the obvious one
Charles Xavier. No,
Charles
Patrick
Xavier's
Stewart.
best friend. Yeah, of course. That's the obvious one.
Larry
He was
David.
just fine. Larry.
Aragorn.
Yeah.
I watched the trailer for the last and final season of Curb this morning.
I'm sure it's the final.
That's what they say.
It is.
It's final. And it looked so funny.
It looks good, man. He's never gonna lose it.
LD. I wouldn't pick LD for Gandalf though.
No,
Why not?
Patrick Stewart would be fine. He'd be just fine.
he's fine.
He could be better.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine would be just. Michael Caine
That'd
would
be fun. How would he say, Zach? How would he say, "Thou shalt not pass"?
You.
That's so hard to do because
So,
you just
Hold on. You
There's
gotta
no Michael
get.
Caine word
You
there.
gotta get into Michael Caine. He would say.
Yeah.
He would look across at the Balrog and he would say, "You shall not pass. You shall not do it."
That's it.
Is it sacred? Is it?
Now, Mr. Frodo, if you don't take Samwise Gamgee with you on this trip, it will end in ruin.
My favorite line in this is from
Wait, he's do it as Michael Caine crying. Is there a moment where Gandalf is crying?
I got you.
Nah, he doesn't cry. He just gets beat up.
I just like
He's an
Michael
angel,
Caine crying
dude.
acting.
He's a fucking angel. Yeah, that one's hilarious. There's a game that I think you guys would hilarious. Take any movie title and replace one word with bitch.
Bitch Alone 2, Lost in New York City.
Do it with anything.
Die, bitch.
Instead of Die Hard.
Bitch hard. No, die, bitch is better.
A bitch named Desire.
Inglorious bitches.
Inglorious Bitches is good.
You know, like a bitch named Desire? Because it's like someone you could meet.
Desire.
Bitch Turismo.
What's his name? The assassination of Jesse James by the bitch Robert Ford.
I like that.
wait, I gotta go to being bitch Malkovich.
Being bitch Malkovich.
Who would Aragorn be? Stay on my thing.
Lee Daniels presents the bitch.
Super bitch?
Super bitch. All right. It's a fun one to do.
That is fun.
Aragorn, Bruce Willis would have been just fine.
Maybe a little old, but
at the time.
Maybe a little old.
What about
was 60? He should probably be
the guy
40.
That played Daryl Dixon on The Walking Dead.
Norman Reedus?
Norman Reedus?
As Aragorn.
I could you really see him walking around going,
he's too jaded and dark.
For Frodo. Yeah, I think he could do Legolas. He could do Legolas.
Yeah. Ooh, he'd be a good Legolas.
James Franco could do Legolas.
No.
He definitely could. No, he's not cool enough. Gyllenhaal could have been Legolas.
Gyllenhaal definitely could have been Legolas.
You know,
Aragorn.
It might be a stretch, but
Brad Pitt. Aragorn.
Yeah, easily. Might be a stretch, but Tom Hanks.
Is Aragorn?
Yeah.
What?
A jacked Tom Hanks.
Lord Elrond.
Oh.
Lord Elrond. Or, who's the king of
Saruman.
No, the king of
Rohan.
Yeah, of Rohan.
That was actually that's a difficult performance. Because he starts all corrupted and then becomes.
Gollum, then I gotta go.
You gotta go.
Yeah, but give me a Gollum.
Wait, I want to do a
Gollum.
Frodo. Do
Oh, yeah,
Frodo and a Gollum.
Jake Gyllenhaal, man. He can do it all.
Frodo. Mike Myers as
Gollum? He
As
could have done
Gollum?
that. He'd be just fine.
He would have been just fine.
He would have been just fine.
he
Frodo,
would have been just fine.
you know who could have done Frodo? Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah.
Would have been just fine.
Frodo could have been Harry Potter. What's his name?
Oh, yeah.
Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah. You imagine the
Just
same guys in both?
Just fine.
Oh my God. You know who would have been a great Aragorn? Hugh Jackman.
Oh, he'd been perfect. He would have been perfect.
And
He
then
would have
you
been
got
beyond
the
fine.
X-Men in both things. That would have been so cool.
Wolverine.
Who's the
Wolverine.
guy?
Did you know
Who's the
that?
guy?
Did you know that? Who's the guy who played Aragorn? What's his name? Viggo Mortensen. You know that he wasn't the first choice. He had to fill in because Peter Jackson just wasn't feeling the one actor and had to like fire him on the first day. And then Viggo like came out of nowhere and gives like the best performance I've ever seen, the most heroic hero of all time.
He's one of the best heroes.
I didn't know that.
Now you do.
All right, fellas. I
Thanks for
love you. I
watching
gotta go.
What
those
Is This
stories, though.
Podcast, where we didn't figure it out. But we're not a
No,
fashion
but-
blog.
Could be.
You know where we are a fashion blog? In a parallel.
To what? Oh, in another universe, we do have a fashion blog. That's
Wow.
good stuff. All right. In another universe, I won't be late for work.
All right, have fun at work. I love you.
Later, fellas.
Adios,
Peace.
amigos.
Go Knicks.
YUNKJunk!